let me set the stage for today's episode. This isn't a surface level conversation. We're getting into real world insights, what works, what doesn't, and how to apply what you hear today in a practical way, whether you're building a business, a brand, or your next opportunity. I want you to stay with me until the very end, because I'm offering a free bonus specifically for listeners who finish the episode. Something that can help you skip the line and move faster if being on this show is something you've been thinking about. All right, let's get into today's conversation. Welcome to another episode of the Financial Freedom Podcast. Today's sponsored episode is from David Perez, the founder of Tax Maverick, tax planning AI software, background in tax planning, helping high-income professionals save taxes, an investor. I'm happy to have him on this sponsored episode. David, welcome.
What's up, man? Thank you for having me.
Briefly introduce yourself.
My name's David. I'm from Texas. I've been in the tax industry for the last 18 years, focused on helping people file their taxes for many of those years. First 12 years of my career, we prepared over 50,000 tax returns. In 2020 came around, the world shifted. I realized that I needed to make a shift. I had a successful tax preparation business, but I knew I needed to do something different. The way clients interacted with me was very different in COVID and beyond. I realized in 2020 that I had a unique skill set that I had been honing down for years. And it was to help clients at a deeper level. I became more of a consultant to my clients than just a tax filer. 2020 sparked this journey of helping people save on taxes, not just file their taxes. It's been my journey ever since. 2.5 years ago, I took everything I learned and I put it into a software selfishly to use in my own company, and realized that once I started to help my clients and help myself make better plans, adjustments to their structures, I realized other accountants needed access to that too. In 2024, I launched a software called Tax Maverick. That's my main initiative today. I can only help clients directly so much. I'm only one person. I have a small team, but our goal is to impact the accounting industry and help accountants transform their practice so they can offer more tax saving strategies to their clients.
You go from one-on-one time for money to scaling with software. What does Tax Maverick offer that is different from the regular tried and true services out there?
First off, we're primarily to accountants. A taxpayer wouldn't come to us directly. They would go to their accountant. I would encourage them to talk to their accountants about Tax Maverick because it's designed for accountants. From a tax strategy standpoint for clients, I would encourage them to go to their accountant and ask specific questions about things that they're doing on their tax return that could be different. Meaning, is there something that I need to know about that may have changed with the one big beautiful bill? I'm a business owner. Is there any tax deductions that maybe I haven't taken in the past? I'm a high-income W-2 earner. Is there any investments that align with me so I can get the best tax savings? Asking questions to your accountant so they can give you a better guide as they make the decisions with you. I think that's the basis for all strategy, is asking the right questions.
What features does Tax Maverick have that make it enticing for people to come and use?
Accountants today are overwhelmed with a lot of information. If you're an accountant today, you've got tax code changes that happen every year. You have continuing education that needs to be done. As a physician, you've known continuing education, things have to happen. Accountants take on more clients than they need to and often do more for their clients than they're paid for. Accountants get overwhelmed with this workload and they're not able to help their clients at the deepest level, even though their clients are asking, even begging for it. It's very difficult for them to commit the time because they're overworked. Where I come in Tax Maverick is we give them access to the strategies, tools, and the process to help their clients. So they don't have to go out and reinvent the wheel. They don't have to go to workshop after workshop, CE class, or go to another accreditation. They can come to us and we are the source of the most advanced tax strategies, and we help them by implementing those strategies for their clients.
What is the ideal client type for them to use Tax Maverick?
If you're an accountant today, the ideal client is going to be somebody who has a tax liability greater than $100,000. It's typically where it starts. You can go as low as 50. However, at $50,000 tax bill, there's not a lot of strategies available. Once you clear $100,000, man, there are so many strategies available to clients today. It's unbelievable. And we're not talking about the TikTok, Mickey Mouse kind of strategies. We're not talking about pay your kids, rent your home to your business, or cost segregation as you're a real estate investor. Those are what I call foundational strategies. They're not even advanced anymore.
What are the most common questions that clients come to you, especially with the release of the big, beautiful bill that they're coming to you asking questions, advice, and strategy for?
Right now, what has expanded is depreciation back to 100%. So real estate investors are coming to us with this belief that they can go buy real estate again, because over the last few years, it's been a negative impact on the tax situation. And then you've got people who are now impacted by the solar energy credits that are now gone, and some that are coming in resurgence for different types. So a lot of clients are coming to us with the confusion. What do I need to do? What steps do I need to take? If they have employees, what changes do I need to increase on my payroll? What changes can I do in payroll that would benefit me? There are some changes that came by way of healthcare. They're asking the right questions. The majority of them come to real estate, but they're asking questions of what are the impacts to them.
Say somebody comes to Tax Maverick, how does it work? First timer, they want to get a sense of whether it fits with them or not.
Two different people that we can help. We help accountants. I also help clients directly. TaxMaverick.ai for accountants. That's where you can go get a subscription to Tax Maverick. Check it out. You can start a free trial. TaxPlanExperts.com. TaxPlanExperts with an S.com. That's where I help clients directly. So we open up a few spots every quarter for clients who have a large liability. We can help them, so they can go to taxplanexperts.com and submit your application. We screen applications based on the type of income, the size of that liability. And if we can't help you, we're going to let you know. But if we think that you're somebody that we can get the biggest impact for, we will. I'm not cheap. Most people call me expensive. I'm a value-driven person, and I believe that what you pay for is results. If I can help you generate a tax savings of $100,000, and I say we're to ask for $10,000, would that be unreasonable? Right? Now, some people would say that's a lot of money. I'd say, so is your $100,000 tax bill, right? It's based on value-driven results. Everything we do, no matter what company we work with, we offer money-back guarantees, meaning we believe in the product and the results so much that no matter what happens, we're willing to put our money where our mouth is.
As you mentioned Tax Maverick AI, how are you using artificial intelligence in the product, the service?
Great question. As we start to generate more traction with our software, our AI models are trained on the data that we receive, not customer profiles, not specific data on a person, more so situations and scenarios. As an example, if you're a physician or a real estate investor, once you come into our ecosystem, we would analyze the number of properties that you have, the annualized years that you would hold those properties, the fair market value versus maybe even the debt service on that property. Then we would look at investment or retirement accounts. Then we would look at income and income types. Is it through retirement income, ordinary income, passive income? We analyze all the data, consolidate the data, and train our models to find patterns, such that whenever a new customer joins Tax Maverick or comes through our system, we analyze their unique situation against thousands of other situations that we've seen and can determine what the best path is available for them. AI is truly working in their favor.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Quick pause here, because if this conversation is resonating with you, you'll want to stay until the very end. At the end of this episode, I'm giving listeners who finish priority access and the ability to skip the line if being a guest on this show is something you've been considering right now. No action needed. I'll share exactly how it works at the end of the episode. All right, let's get back to the conversation. We're almost the first quarter. For people planning tax strategies for this year, what are 5 strategies accountants, CPAs, people listening should implement in 2026?
We use the SHIFT formula. We believe that everything starts with structure. The first thing is the entity structure that you operate in. A lot of people, even W-2 earners, come to me, they say, David, I'm not a business owner. I don't need to look at structure. Structure goes beyond just owning a business. Structure could be the way that you want to establish your entities or your trusts in the future. It is probably one of the most effective ways to get around paying the most taxes is to set up a structure that gives you the best tax optimization. Next is how income gets characterized. When I look at income, we look at, does it come passively or non-passive? Those are 2 different buckets. As a real estate investor, a lot of people believe that passive income is the most effective income, and I believe so too. By the way, I've never met real passive income in my life. I don't care if you own 100 units or 1 unit, you're going to work at some point. There's no such thing as passive, but the IRS deems things as passive if you don't materially participate in the activity more than a specific number of hours. What ends up happening is The way income is classified or characterized on your return is a strategy. When you're buying things, opening a business, you're investing in something, you have to understand how it's going to be characterized. Once we understand how things are characterized, we then look at investments. Here are where the strategies come in play. We like investments. Real estate being a great investment is a great strategy. Solar would be a great strategy this year. Equipment, not only for your own business, there are businesses now today that are established just to have investments from equipment. I would look at foundational strategies in investments. I would be thinking about the company that I'm in. Does it need to be an S-Corp? That goes back to structure, but also an investment, properties or equipment for those companies. Once we get to the investments, next, we go from there, follow the structure, follow the money. Where do these tax strategies come from? I look at strategies as the foundation for saving cash. We say, okay, where's my money coming from? Is it coming from my W-2? Is it coming from my business? And we follow the money. And the last thing is taxes not to be paid. We focus on not paying any taxes, but restructuring our process to save on strategies that we invest in. For bonus stuff, I would say for everyone here is, if you're a business owner, focus on buying the right assets to get you the leverage. If you're a W-2 earner, I'd be buying tax credits like solar or other strategies, because those in 2026 are going to give you the biggest tax savings.
A lot of the people that are listening, my audience are doctors. You help high income. The difference between a doctor with a hospital W-2 versus doctors doing locums and getting 1099, what are the differences between a W-2 doctor and a 1099 doctor?
What a great question. I love working with doctors. We have a lot of doctor clients. The reason is because doctors, first and foremost, are saviors. They're heroes. I really mean that. I see doctors today working very hard. That's obviously why you've retired early. You realized how hard a doctor works, and the hours are insane. The reason that many of them are feeling a financial burden as they get older is because they don't really plan. Typically, their retirement plan is give their money to some financial advisor, because that's the only thing they can think about while they're actually working. They're grinding it out, right? Trading hours for dollars. A W-2 earner, typically employed by a hospital or medical clinics, it's a great way to get paid, but so is a 1099. What's the difference? The difference is how it's characterized. A business owner is a 1099, by the way. When somebody says I'm 1099, you are a small business owner. The challenge with doctors who are in 1099 is in most cases, they don't have a lot of deductions. The facility is technically supposed to pay them like a doctor, but they don't. They get all the benefits of getting all the cash, but they get no deductions. They're like, they deduct. So they end up buying things like real estate. They buy vehicles they don't need. They buy homes they don't need. They buy things they don't need at all. This happens all the time. I see it all the time. I don't blame them. What are you supposed to do? I have a client who's a doctor. I met him about 3 years ago. He had 17 single family homes. And I said, why do you have so many properties? I don't know. I watched some podcast. They said just buy houses. So I've just been buying a house every quarter for the last few years. And I said, what are you doing with them? He's, I don't know, man, but I hate them. I hate having to collect rent. I hate all this stuff. And I said, why do you do it? He goes, I don't know. They said I was going to save on taxes. I never saw it. It reminds me of how hard they work. I want to share this strategy with you. I have a strategy for doctors. I like solar a lot because it's one of my favorites lately. For W-2 doctors right now, I have a strategy that would allow them to get their federal withholdings from prior years or their tax payments from prior years. For an example, if you're a W-2 doctor, you're making $500,000. Let's say out of that $500,000, you pay $150,000 in taxes that get taken out of your paychecks, right? Those go to Uncle Sam. At the end of the year, you file your return, and maybe you have a little more debt. Maybe it's $20,000 that you still have to pay. So you paid $170,000 to the IRS. I have a strategy called Solar Equities, which will allow me to get those debts that you paid in the past to fund your investment in the future. We can apply for those credits. Those credits would then go back retroactive, take away your liability, and you'll get a refund check from the IRS.
Wow.
So all W-2 employees, doctors, what a great strategy. No money out of pocket. You get into the solar investment strategy. You get the credits, very minimal money out of pocket. What a great investment. For 1099s, we can do the same thing. 1099 doctors, the exact same thing. The only difference is that 1099 doctors is that I don't know what your federal withholdings are because you're going to make either estimated payments or you're going to pay one large sum in April. It's the same number.
Talk about some success stories of clients you've helped.
If we want to talk about doctors, I can tell you so many. I have a really good client. They're a married couple, both endodontists. They make a combined about $2.5 million, and they're both employees. Very high income earners. When I met them 2 years ago, their biggest challenge was trying to figure out why they were paying so much taxes. They had to make a debate. Most facilities, if they're a good facility, they're going to ask, how would you like to be paid? Would you like to be on payroll or do you want to be a 1099? Based on my experience, about 70% paid W-2 and 30% take the 1099. The reason 70% take the W-2 is not because they don't see the value in the 1099. They think about it as more work. Many are not going to take on the work. These guys were in that position, W-2, but they wanted to go 1099. We had to structure this the right way because they were going to become partners. They didn't want to be W-2 anymore. So we structured them in an S-Corp, which was one of the most powerful vehicles you could do. We set up S-Corps for both of them so they could use those S-Corps to pay for expenses. They bought a vehicle for business use. They started to pay their children from the S-Corp. They rented their home from their S-Corp. They leveraged investments. They bought real estate that year. They were making so much money that they bought a facility, a building, and they leased it to the doctors group they were joining. They started to make cash flow off of that. We had to forecast the savings by doing a soft cost study in the beginning. These guys were paying somewhere around $750,000 in taxes. When we finished that first year, they paid a little less than $100,000. No material changes to their life other than structure. It was just a structure shift. And then we took that next year, we looked at it and we said, okay, you're getting rental income now. You've got a lot of expenses coming out of your S-Corp. How do we leverage that? We went into solar this past year, got back $100,000 from the prior year and paid off the solar investment this year. Their bill was around $40,000 this past year, and they still made over $2 million. They still made over $2 million. That I can go on. I have dentists, doctors, chiropractors, surgeons. I have a really good dental surgeon. What a stud. So many of these guys are so good. The best part about working with doctors to me is that when you get on the call, doctors in most cases just listen. I'm not trying to tell people what to do. You're an expert. I wouldn't go into your field and say, this is how you treat your patients. Let me help you structure your stuff so you can start making what you've done all these years worth it. Because it sounds, by the way, Chris, that you figured this out. It's not about trading time for money because that game gets old. I have one client in particular right now who's in his mid-60s and still grinding as a doctor. He hates it, dude. We met about a year ago. All these years, he just had poor money habits, to be honest. And he'll admit it. I didn't do anything. I didn't set up anything. I've been paying taxes for years. And this is a curse for doctors. Doctors get up in years and realize their knees, their back hurts. They're having to travel to different hospitals because hospitals won't keep them around because they're old. It just sucks, man. Success doesn't have to be in tax savings. It could be getting some of their time back. That's what we do. When we can leverage the right strategies, they can work less, which is the goal of every doctor.
How can people connect to reach out to you?
You get a hold of me. You go to my site, davidapettis.com, and you can see anything I do, davidapettis.com.
I really enjoyed this conversation. David's links will be in the show notes. Thanks again for coming on.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Chris.
If you stayed until the very end, congratulations. You've earned the freebie. As promised, here it is. Email chris@drchrislewmdphd.com. You'll find it in the show notes and simply put podcast freebie. A member of our team will reach out to you about being a guest on the show. If you found value in today's conversation, please take a moment to rate the show 5 stars and follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It helps more people discover the conversations we're having here. To be a premium guest on the show, book a spot or join our podcast community. You'll find the links in the show notes below. And if you're looking for more personal guidance, you can book one-on-one coaching call with me. Our books, products, and courses are linked in the show notes. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.